Our scripture reading is a classic. It's Micah 6, verses 6, 7, and 8. With what shall I come before the Lord and bow down before the exalted God? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, with 10,000 rivers of olive oil? Shall I offer my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Back in high school, I participated in something called Law Day. It was a mock trial where I was pretending to be a defense attorney, and my client was someone who was accused of armed robbery. And the other side was a team from a different school, and they were the prosecution. So I'm cross-examining this witness. You know, there's a degree of known information that we have to work with, and then other stuff is kind of made up. But I'm cross-examining this witness, and I catch her up in a lie, and I start to exploit that. You know, wait a minute, you said earlier, yada, yada, yada. And the jury and the courtroom was filled with spectators, mostly other students. And this was this mock law day. This mock trial was set in an actual courtroom, and there was an actual judge presiding. And so the stakes were kind of high. It was kind of intense. It was kind of theatrical. The crowd started to kind of get into the drama of what was taking place, and maybe some oohs and ahs and things like that. And the judge at one point or 2 or 3 points had to ask the crowd to quiet down and remain composed. It was clear, though, that my side, the defense, was winning, and it had a lot to do with that cross-examination. And the witness could tell that was happening, and probably feeling a little discouraged and maybe a lot embarrassed, she started to cry. For me, in that moment, as someone who was really taking the whole mock trial seriously, I was motivated to kind of keep going, because that was a sign to me that we were doing well and we had a chance at winning. So I didn't really, I don't believe I did any badgering or anything like that, but I didn't really let up much either. I kind of exploited that weakness and secured victory for my pretend client. However, I also earned a little scolding from the judge, who said that I had been too harsh. In my pursuit of justice for my client, you could argue that from a certain perspective, I failed to be merciful. And goodness, decency, what the Lord requires, according to the prophet Micah, is finding a way to hold those in tension and kind of thread the needle between the two. There's a lot going on in the United States, other places too, but where I live in the United States, there's a whole lot going on, a lot of civil unrest. A great deal of it being stirred up is in response to the increased activity, the increased visibility of ICE agents, Immigration Customs Enforcement agents, a federal agency. Now, I have my proclivities to lean toward one side or the other, and I won't be shy about the fact that I think whenever we are giving people power and authority, they have the greater responsibility to look out for those who don't have that power and authority. And so I guess my hot take on the subject is, if we're telling, as a government, if we're telling these agents to go arrest people and we're arming them, they should also be armed with really skilled de-escalation tactics. Far too often, that's not what I've seen. I've seen a lot of arguing with citizens and typically relatively peaceful protesters, and there seems to be a lot of fueling the flames of vitriol versus cooling and peacemaking, instead of seeking a win-lose scenario, doing whatever we can to seek a win-win scenario. It's really difficult. It's easier said than done. When we are inundated with violent images, when we are perpetually consumed with digesting, faced with traumatizing violence and injustice, it's natural for us to be angry. It's difficult for us to hold space for the humanity of those we see as the opposition. Fear needs a face. Anger needs a name. Hatred needs an enemy to otherize, to perpetuate the idea of us versus them. But love says, no, it's not us versus them, because there is no them, there is only us. Dr. King said, hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. But I don't think he said that out of his own self-determined decency. I believe that flowed out of the fact that he walked humbly with his God. Bishop Desmond Tutu did incredible work on the other side of apartheid, reconciling wrong doers and those who were wronged. I don't think he dreamed that up in his own might. I think that flowed out of the fact that he walked humbly with his God. Jesus Christ from the cross looked down at the people who put him up there and said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. In our pursuit of justice and mercy, we'll inevitably be overwhelmed. We'll inevitably be discouraged. And in those moments, we need to tap into a deeper well. We need to channel a greater source of strength. We need to walk humbly with our God, who somehow manages to love all of us, who is seeking the good, the well-being of everyone.